Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to talk about, does the Rey movie have a chance really to I won't say like restore Star Wars per se, because a lot of content creators may go with that, but to like I guess revitalize the intrigue or the love for the sequel trilogy era, for the Disney era of Star Wars, I should say, because a lot of people associate the sequel trilogy era as the Disney era, which is fair, And I think it has a chance if it plays its cards right. I mean, sure, I think like the whole premise of what Rey is going to do in the movie, which is to revitalize the Jedi Order, bring it back after, at this point, got destroyed twice in the timeline. Not once, but twice. The first time being Order 66, with the help of Anakin Skywalker. The second time was because Ben Solo turned to the dark side and got mad at Uncle Luke, right? For nearly killing him. Which is understandable. Anyone would be upset for trying to kill someone. Or at least if they perceive that someone's trying to kill them, right? Regardless of how you want to spin that. I think a lot of people's disappointment with the sequel trilogy and partial frustration with the Rey trilogy is that Luke Skywalker was supposed to be the one to bring back the Jedi Order. And that he did in the what's considered as Legends, which Legends is considered as canon. And I feel like a lot of people's frustrations towards the Rey movie is that Rey's doing exactly what Luke was supposed to do. What Luke did essentially in this Legends. At least trying to anyways. I think that sure, yeah, it sucks to not see Luke Skywalker bring back the Jedi Order the way that I think we all expect him to after the end of Return of the Jedi. Cinematically anyways. That I think with the right director, this movie has a solid shot. Sure, it won't reach the same level as if Luke did the whole resurrecting the whole Jedi thing, but I think this movie would have a shot with the right director. I think Rey could bring back the Jedi in several interesting ways, just to say. And before I dive into the negatives, I a lot of people sees, which I am in the same boat. I wanted to try to highlight some potential ideas that I doubt that the director will follow, but some potential ideas that, yes, I use ChatGPT to help out, admittedly. So none of these ideas I can really claim to be my own. But some ideas that could potentially help, could have helped make the Rey movie somewhat better. Because I did admittedly put in, how could Rey Skywalker, right, bring back the Jedi? And they gave me 6. The first one is Rey could personal study and research. Rey could have delved into Jedi teachings by studying ancient texts and holocrons left behind by previous Jedi Masters. This would involve learning about the Jedi Code, history, philosophy, and various Force techniques. Well, that could also be used with Luke, right? How Luke could have, and I'm pretty sure he did in Legends, correct me if I'm wrong, did that with a little bit. I think it is important, yeah, to learn about the history before actually taking on. Because if she just brings back the Jedi without ever really looking back and researching the history of the Jedi, then that would be like you have no credibility. You should not be starting this Jedi movie. I mean, this Jedi Order. You have no right to start this Jedi Order. So, like, studying and researching, yes, sir, I'll agree. Anyways, two that ChatGPT said is passing on knowledge. As one of the last known Jedi, Rey could take on apprentices and train them in the ways of the Force. She could establish a new Jedi temple or academy to educate and guide for sensitive individuals. Which I'm pretty sure that's what Luke did, especially in like the Jedi Outcast games. Luke Skywalker did that. Sure, he made some mistakes, I think, in there. Like, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a hot minute since I played it. Like, one of his followers fell to the dark side. But that's essentially what, like, Luke Skywalker did. Like, he passed on his knowledge. He started his own, like, Jedi Academy. I forget which planet Luke started his Jedi Academy on. And I believe it was in the Jedi Temple as well. But, I don't think it was Coruscant. But Luke also did that in Legends. And sorry if this is no issue for me comparing this to Legends. But the personal study and research and the passing on the knowledge thing does sound a lot like what Luke Skywalker did in Legends. Which kind of begs the question, why the hell didn't they do that in canon? I don't know. The third one is balancing. Before I go to the third one, I feel like to a certain extent, I feel like they had Rey pass on what she knew with Finn. They definitely hinted that in the Lego Holiday Special. Would Finn be her Jedi Padawan, her only Jedi Padawan in the movie, or like, will he have known? Will he be somewhat knowledgeable about the Jedi ways, like the Force, history, lightsaber combat? Maybe. It's like, what, 15 years after the events of Rise of Skywalker? And at the end of the Rise of Skywalker, Finn and that other girl that Lando offered to help find her heritage, both, were hinted at to be Force sensitives. So I think so. I mean, there's a possibility that they could have that. But they would need to have like way more stuff than just that if they're going to make the Rey movie good, to be honest, let's be real. Anyways, 4. Seeking allies or balance and teachings, there we go. Learning from the mistakes from the past, Rey might adapt the teachings of the Jedi, finding a balance between light and dark, compassion and pragmatism, while avoiding the rigidity that plagued the prequel era Jedi. Now, before I go on to like comparing this to Legends, one can make an argument that Luke kind of already started that with his second lesson in the Last Jedi. Because his second lesson was like, the Jedi were so blind to let Darth Sidious rise take power and wipe them out, and allowed the rise of Darth Vader to take place. And Rey kind of rebelled, saying, yeah, it was said Jedi who was talking to me right now that believe that Darth Vader still had light in him and was right, brought Vader back to the light side. Whatever. Mainly that was like one of the few good things about The Last Jedi. So you can say that Luke kind of already started around the balance of the teachings bit that we just went over, right? But then like pretty sure Luke did that as well in Legends. I mean, the Jedi didn't let any like romantic attachments, right? And you can kind of see in the original trilogy where Luke, because sure, if Luke didn't save Han and Leia, he would became a Jedi like master by the time Return of the Jedi came along, but it was partially because his attachments to like his friends and his loved ones, where it helped get Luke Skywalker into places that he needed to be in the original trilogy. And in post Return of the Jedi, and yes, I'm going to talk about Legends here, Luke allowed his Jedi Academy to kind of like have attachments, like, because like the Jedi didn't allow love to be an attachment. Like they claim not to allow any attachments outside of your lightsaber. Luke allowed like those type of attachments. Luke allowed emotional attachments. And yeah, the reason why so far I'm comparing Rey to Legends Luke, because pretty much from what I'm seeing, Rey, ChatGPT is suggesting that Rey is going to be the female Luke Skywalker, which is not quite surprising because Luke was supposed to start the Jedi Temple Order. He failed at that in Disney's timeline. Rey's taking over, being the female Luke Skywalker. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. Anyways, let's continue. I see seeking allies and guidance. Rey could explore the galaxy seeking out wise individuals or force-sensitive beings who hold valuable knowledge about the Force. She might collaborate with other Force users or groups with similar ideas to strengthen her own understanding. Truthfully, that just sounds like what any Jedi should do, to be honest. Anyways, personal growth. Rey herself will undergo personal growth and development, honing her own abilities and mastering the Force, and become a better teacher and guardian to the Jedi way. That is, I feel like that would play like a big part of the Rey movie since she's gonna be the main character, and I'm hoping they do the whole personal growth aspect in the right way. Don't just say, hey, because Rey has a vagina, she's automatically powerful. She's already the most badass individual ever. Female power. She doesn't have to train, because we already, like, she doesn't need to train, because we kind of already saw that in the sequel trilogy where she didn't really need to train all too much to hone in her powers because she was so perfect. I'm hoping in the Rey movie they will have like her go through like personal growth and actually like have us fans who are kind of like resistant to Rey, no pun intended, but resistant to Rey, to like say, okay, like her portrayal in the sequel trilogy wasn't the best, but I can kind of respect her in here. Well, the current director, I doubt it, but anyways. And then, facing challenges, rebooting the Jedi Order would undoubtedly bring challenges, including opposition from remnants of the dark side, political conflicts, and the complexities of training new Jedi while maintaining their dedication to the light side. Ultimately, Rey Skywalker's journey to restore the Jedi would involve a combination of learning from the past, personal growth, teaching others, and overcoming challenges to bring back balances and harmony to the Force. Her approach would likely emphasize a more balanced and nuanced understanding of the Force compared to the rigid doctrine seen in previous iterations of the Jedi. Dude! That little description that I just said was just like the conclusion. Dude, that literally sounds like what Luke Skywalker did in the what's considered as Legends. That pretty much sums up what Luke Skywalker did in Legends, which I will repeat, pretending that it's Luke Skywalker. Ultimately, Luke Skywalker's journey to restore the Jedi would involve a combination of learning from the past, personal growth, teaching others, and overcoming challenges to bring back balance and harmony to the Force. His approach will likely emphasize a more balanced and nuanced understanding of the Force compared to the rigid doctrine seen in previous iterations of the Jedi Order. I have to say that the Jedi of the prequels of the Republic era, yeah, they like their mindset were kind of high mind. They used the Force, but it didn't feel like they really were like connected to the Force per se. I feel like the only Jedi of the prequels that was truly connected to the Force was Qui-Gon. And I feel like Luke Skywalker was the second Jedi that we've seen in canon. Or Legends, as to say now. That was the second Jedi that was really connected, fully connected to the Force. Because you can't even say like Yoda in the original trilogy, but there's a whole argument about like if he really was or wasn't around the time he trained Luke. Maybe he learned from the past. Who knows? Video for another time. But I'm not saying that these are like bad examples that ChatGPT gave me, like personal study and research, passing on knowledge, balancing the teachings, seeking allies and wisdom, personal growth, facing challenges. If Lucasfilm can focus on those 6 elements, then yeah, the Rey movie should have no issue blowing us fans' socks off. Us fans, it shouldn't be that hard for us fans to be wowed, to be amazed. To essentially say, you know what? This Rey movie is amongst the better part of the Star Wars of the Disney Star Wars. It is better than mostly what we saw of Disney Star Wars for the most part. But with the current director, which I am blanking on her name, she's gonna be in the thumbnail. So with the current what's the word? I think like I said, the Rey movie could be the one amongst the best of Disney Star Wars. But what they need to do is not focus so much on, hey, let's push out female powers per se. Let's push out a narrative that's a real life political narrative into the movie. Focus on the story. Focus on character development. Focus on those six elements that we went over in here, which is again personal study and research, passing on knowledge, balancing the teaching, seeking allies and wisdom, personal growth and facing challenges. I kind of gave you guys a description of what they mean by it with each category in here. But as long as they do that in the Rey movie, I mean, I think that, like I said, the Rey movie could easily be the best thing, or amongst the best things Disney Star Wars done, and the best thing to have happened in the sequel trilogy timeline. And the reason why I'm kind of doubting that this will happen is because the person is at the moment set to make the Rey movie said that she likes to make men uncomfortable. You do realize, right, that it was men, I'm not discounting women, but it was partially men too, men and women, but appearing to be predominantly men. who, what's the word am I thinking of? It was predominantly men who helped Star Wars stay on its feet for years. Like after Revenge of the Sith was done. Let excluding the Clone Wars for a second. Between Revenge of the Sith and the Disney buyout, it was mostly men who who kept Star Wars afloat, kept Star Wars alive. Even between Return of the Jedi and the Phantom Menace, it was mostly like, I want to say mostly men that it appears to be. Because I know, like, I think between like when Star Wars first came out with the original trilogy and the Phantom Menace, it was like mostly men, I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, who were fans of Star Wars. Or at least, if they were females, they weren't like as known as they were post Revenge of the Sith to be fans of. Because I think back then, cereal might have been like kind of cool. Say, oh, I'm gonna nurture this, but it wasn't as cool as it was post Revenge of the Sith, or like nowadays, per se. But like, she even made a statement, the director, saying that, was I kind of agree with, and I'll elaborate, and I'm paraphrasing too, about how like sometimes it takes people to be uncomfortable to see the to actually do the change. And I, to a certain extent, I do agree with that. I do. Because I think people will change. I think people have the capability of changing. I really do. Male or female. And sometimes, or even company. But that statement kind of holds some weight about like sometimes it make people will have to be uncomfortable in order to be willing to make that change. And maybe that's what Lucasfilm has to do, is keep seeing their numbers go down, be uncomfortable with them, just so that way they can change their mindset and attitude. Because I don't think there's anyone who is saying, I'm not going to support, like, who's really saying, I'm not going to support this because it's, like, Rey's a girl. If people are not going to support this, probably because they're tired of current day Lucasfilm trying to push the whole female agenda. Like, pushing female power. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've always said that Ahsoka Tano is one of my favorite, is debatably my favorite Clone Wars hero. I highly respect both Padme Amidala and Leia Organa. Both of those two ladies, plus Ahsoka, are like, I'm saying Ahsoka more so like based on what I've seen from the Clone Wars and Rebels. So pretending that the Ahsoka show doesn't come out, isn't out. Try and be somewhat biased too. Those like, just I don't know how I exactly feel about the Ahsoka show at the moment, so I'm leaving that out. But Padme, Ahsoka, Leia, all strong female leads, right? Ahsoka was Anakin's apprentice. At first, Anakin didn't want her as apprentice, but in the 7 seasons of the Clone Wars and in the 2nd season of Rebels, we see, it says to see this like huge growth in Ahsoka. And you can even say too that in the Ahsoka show, depending on how you want to slice it, you see the growth in her too. From this like whiny Padawan that was like annoying, to this mature woman that, yes, she still has her flaws, but still trying to do her best to do right by the galaxy, Leia helped lead the rebellion. Also, Ahsoka also got screwed over. The point I want to make with Ahsoka says she essentially got screwed over in the Clone Wars. She was framed with something she didn't do. When she was kicked out of the Jedi Order, and when they said you can come back, she said, "Nah, screw you, I'm not coming back." And she chose to go on a life where it was scary for her. She was in the unknown, but she tackled it. And by the time we saw her in Rebels, you could see that yes, she has some regrets, but she also grew since the last time we saw her in the Clone Wars. And I can respect that from Ahsoka. Same with like Leia. She grew a lot. Sure, even if you want to bring the sequel trilogy, she helped lead both the rebellion and the resistance. At when we first meet Leia, Luke comes in after Tarkin blows up her home planet of Alderaan. Luke comes in saying, "I'm here to rescue you." Han and Luke tries to rescue her, gives her this firefight. Leia steals Luke's gun and charges a little bit, goes down the garbage chute, right? She's a woman who doesn't take charge, much like her mother, Padme. Padme, I could go on this whole long ass tire rant or whatever you want to call it on how there being strong females in Star Wars before Lucasfilm bought Disney bought Lucasfilm. Before there was a Rey, before there was a Jyn Erso. I forget that girl who is in the Battlefront 2 storyline. But even before there was that character, there were already strong female characters. Even more so than the wild name. Some were Jedi, some were Senators. Some were introduced in the Clone Wars, which was pre-Disney. So my point is, if they can manage to focus on the 6 story point arcs that they that GPT has said, which is personal study and research, passing on knowledge, balancing the teachings, seeking allies and wisdom, personal growth, and facing challenges, and not so much on the whole let's try to make some messaging that will somehow put men down and actually focus on the story. Oh, and the character development and road building. Oh. That could easily be, like I said earlier, a few times, that could be the Rey movie could honestly be amongst the better part of the Disney Star Wars. And debatably, the best part of the sequel trilogy timeline. Sure, it probably wouldn't bring Star Wars back to where it once was pre-Disney era, but if they focus on those 6 things, then it would be at least, and continue to follow essentially character development, character development, world building in their movies going forward, and not so much on the whole messaging and trying to put one gender down, then I feel like Star Wars one day will be, if not where it was once before, very close to. I love Star Wars, mostly the George Lucas era. I want to see Star Wars thrive. But as long as Lucasfilm is going down the route that they're going down, I highly doubt that they will ever be at the place that they were when George Lucas owned Star Wars. It took a and for those of them that are like saying we need to push female because fuck men, don't forget it was a man who started Star Wars, who came up with that concept of the Star Wars films, and it was a man that helped bring some strong females, Leia, Padme, to be specific, both ladies being the forefront of their respective trilogies. We even had Mon Mothma a little bit in Return of the Jedi. So you can have strong female and male, at least two. I'm not discounting males, without trying to put some political messaging in it. It's my point. So I'm hoping for the best. I really am hoping for the best. And like I said, I've always said that I wanted to see Lucasfilm also do, or Disney Star Wars do, something more so like in their like sequel trilogy timeline and post sequel trilogy timeline too. Besides going back in the prequel and original trilogy timeline as well, because I feel like he can only do so much in both timelines and in between those two timelines until it gets tiring. So since I've been saying I want to see Disney Star Wars to like actually do something, either like post episode 9 or like whatever, like in that timeline, I'll give this movie a watch in theaters minutely. Give it a chance because I've been preaching that for like years. But I'm not expecting the best, but I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping. I really am. So with that said, what do you guys think? Do you guys have any faith in the Rey movie? Let me know in the comment section down below. And what would it take for you guys to what would it take Disney Star Wars for you guys to be better than what it is right now? Let me know in the comment section as well. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. I will talk to you fellow mutuals later.